Welcome to Let's Talk About Health, an informational podcast that gives you insights on health and fitness from experts themselves that you can apply directly to your own personal health and fitness stories. Come join me today to hear all about what they have to say on health and fitness. Hello, how are you?
Good. How about you?
I'm doing good. It's so good to finally get together and speak with you.
Yes, you as well. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you're most welcome. So let me introduce. Today we have Luke with us, and he's an exercise therapist. Is that right?
Yeah. Trainer, strength and conditioning coach. So yeah, doing all that good stuff.
That's great. I was going through. I wanted to ask you. Okay, let me start by this. You do boxing and striking, correct?
Yeah. Boxing, Muay Thai mostly. Yeah.
What's striking?
Well, in fighting, there's different martial arts, and the two main categories are where you're hitting someone, which would be striking. You can punch, kick, elbow, knee, or grappling, which would be like wrestling, jiu-jitsu. And so yeah, striking is more of the training that I do and the classes that I run. Yeah.
See, I was like, wait, I think I know striking, but I was not too sure. But that's good
Now
to
you know.
know. Now I know.
Yeah.
Okay, so I am so glad that we get a platform where we can talk about exercise, fitness, health, and thank you for supporting and being a part of it, helping people be more aware about health and fitness. And even if it's a disability or something physically that they're going through, you get to help them. So I am so grateful and thankful for you and for helping everyone out there. So
Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate it. My pleasure.
yes, I wanted to ask you, I always start by this. What do you think, or how would you define as health and fitness?
Health, I would say, is how far away from death you are. I know it sounds kind of morbid, but yeah, I would say, it's like a spectrum. The least healthy would be is, a dead body, and then
Right,
the less illness or injury you have is kind of healthy. Is how healthy you are, and then fitness, I'd say, is similar, but I kind of look at that as like how fit you are to do a task. So whether it's running a marathon or whatever you might be doing, kind of your physical attributes that help you accomplish
right,
any task. And most of us think of that from like primitive days of whether it be fighting or survival, something physical, whether it's cardio or strength. A lot of people now just associate fit with how you look, and there is a correlation there, but I would put fitness as kind of your ability to accomplish a physical task, and health is kind of avoiding any injury or illness. So
right.
I would sum those up.
Well, would you say like mental fitness plays a role in health? Just
Yeah,
being
absolutely.
mentally fit.
Yeah, gotta be mentally tough. Life is hard, so gotta be prepared for it. Yeah,
Right.
it's always, no matter who you are, you're always gonna have your battles and struggles. So um, yeah, definitely need to be mentally tough.
Especially when you're coming from New York.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yeah. I'm new here and still getting used to the weather that I do not understand. How is it sunny in the morning and then raining the next second and then windy the third minute? I'm like, okay, give me a break. But yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, all seasons in one day.
All
Yeah,
seasons.
don't even have to travel.
I know, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. My next question is, what are a few misconceptions that you have come across about health or fitness?
Probably kind of what I was just mentioning about how I think most people attribute it with how you look. And there's often correlation there, but that's not the whole, puzzle. There's some people that look, really ripped or fit or skinny or whatever, and they're horribly unhealthy. Their cardio might be trash, or they might, have, bad diets and be,
Right.
sick on the inside. So I would say that's probably the biggest misconception, and vice versa. There's some people that actually don't look too fit, You'll see like some pro athletes, most of them might look pretty ripped, but then you'll see, that guy playing pro basketball and you're like, oh, he doesn't look that fit, but, could run miles and miles and, super
Right.
strong and really fit. So I'd say people analyze the look, and that's probably the biggest misconception I would say.
That's interesting to know. Do you think pay, definitely diet plays a huge role, but how much do you think diet is important for staying healthy and fit?
What was the question?
I know like diet is very important
Oh yeah,
in,
yeah.
but how much do you think it's important to balance diet and exercise?
Yeah, no, very important. I mean, like they say, you are what you eat. So diet is definitely important. I'm not a nutritionist. It's not my expertise,
Correct.
but I'm obviously very aware that, you see changes when clients adjust their diet in a good way or a bad way. You can see it, pretty quickly. And dieting is definitely, I'd say most people struggle. A lot of people can still, get to the gym or work hard, but you're not really going to lose weight if your diet is still garbage. So, yeah, diet is huge. I mean, I specialize more on the exercise
Right.
portion, but I definitely am very aware that diet is very important. So,
Okay, can you tell us about the exercise aspect um, of your therapy? How does that work, and how do you go about with your clients and your
yeah,
patients?
yeah. So with us, we look at kind of movement as medicine, and it really is. When you exercise,
Mm-hmm.
you're the two main things we're working on is going to be strength, kind of in one bucket, or endurance and cardio in kind of the other bucket. And there's a little bit of overlap. It can be a spectrum.
Right.
You can train both at the same time a little bit, but with strength training, what you're doing is you're obviously improving your muscular health. Muscles, stronger muscles are very important because they actually support the joints. So you often get less joint pain when you
Right.
get strong. And whenever you train a muscle, you actually are strengthening the tendons, the ligaments, the bones. It's almost impossible just to get a stronger muscle. Really, the whole system strengthens up.
Right.
So that's going to help you absorb more impact and be basically more injury resilient and have less pain, better posture. We see a lot of back pain, neck pain from bad
Mm-hmm.
posture. Uh, so strength training is very important. It also is really good for the nervous system because whenever you move a muscle or move a body part, that's instructed from the brain, and that neuromuscular connectivity is super important. Especially with my clients, I work with neurodegenerative disorders, and so that's why we use movement and exercise so much to help them kind of rehabilitate. And then the other kind of bucket would be cardio, and that's anything where you're doing like a kind of a longer sustained effort, and that's what that's going to do is get your heart rate up and going to improve, heart health, circulation, and respiration. It's your respiratory system and cardio system are going to improve a lot because whenever you're training for a long amount of time or kind of getting your cardio and your heart rates up, basically the muscles are breaking down and they need new oxygen to the area. So it's all about the oxygen delivery. So that's why the blood flow increases. And blood flow is super important because it brings all the good nutrients, the oxygen to an area, any tissue that's under stress. So whether you're just doing a bunch of bicep curls and it's all in the arm,
Right.
or whether you're going for a run and it's the full body, we need that blood flow because it carries the good, healthy nutrients to the area. And it also flushes out the waste. So that blood flow is super important. Getting oxygen to every tissue is super important. A really good exercise scientist that I used to go to his lectures told me he described it really well. I said, "You show me." He's like, "If you dissect any part of the body and kind of study it, and if it's poorly oxygenated, he's like, I can guarantee you that area is going to be weak and not very mobile. Probably gives you pain, probably gives you problems. If it is very oxygenated, it's probably a very healthy area, whether it's a joint, a muscle. It probably moves well, probably pretty mobile, pretty strong. So that really is another massive key is getting that blood flow, getting your heart rate up, your respiratory rate up. So we use those as kind of our main tools for therapy in my classes and with my clients.
How with clients like neuromuscular degenerative disorders, how careful you have to be with them? What precautions do you have to take? Like being a physical therapist, I I deal with ortho and neuro cases both. So with ortho, still you can still trust them, but with neuro, you have to be a little more cautious, given stroke patients, Parkinson's. So what precautions do you, or what extra steps do you take to train them?
Well, I mean, I pretty much keep my fingers crossed most of the time, but I hope they don't fall. We have matted floors where we train,
Right.
and I always tell them get near a wall if you're, need help with balance. But other than that, yeah, I just give basic exercise variations for people that are struggling to stand or that can't move too well. We have seated options, especially with my Zoom classes. We have some people that don't stand up and they'll do all the same movements. Or I'll give an option. If we're doing punches, ones and twos, they can do that from a wheelchair or do that from sitting down. So,
Right.
so we have options for everyone, whether you can whether you can stand or walk. We might have one class where someone could be jumping rope and someone else can't walk, but they can do similar type drills. And that's another good thing about kind of why we use boxing and striking, because you can do a lot of that stuff still seated or with a walker, and then it helps them a lot, and often helps them get better at balance, so that they might be able to stand up or might be able to get rid of the walker. Because when we're striking, you're really learning where your body weight is through space, how to generate force and power from the ground up. And that's the same thing you need to avoid falling or to walk around the streets. So yeah.
That's interesting to know. Can you tell me what's the basic difference between physical therapy and exercise therapy for patients with disability?
Yeah, so my program is just based on exercise. That's really the main difference. Physical therapists do a lot of exercise, and I'm biased. I think that's the most important aspect, which is why my whole brand revolves around it. But
Correct.
physical therapists do other things as well. They might prescribe hot packs or icing, or the electric node therapy, and different things like that. I don't know if they all do cupping or acupuncture, or if that's different, but I know they do a lot of different things, massage, manual, stuff like that.
Right.
We just focus on exercise and movement, so that's the main difference.
Movement therapy is a hype right now. Our patients, the only reason why we get so many patients, like we force them to come, is because of movement therapy. That at least you're moving, you're not stuck because of disability, you're not stuck at one place at your home. So movement therapy is quite popular now. Well, what are your thoughts about movement therapy?
Oh yeah, yeah. That's my whole brand. Yeah, like I said before, movement is medicine, and when you move, you're taking the muscle through an extended range of motion. Hopefully, if you're moving big, we try to do big movements to increase clients' ranges of motion. And if you move fast, then you're going to train more power, more speed, and if you continually move fast, then you're going to get your heart rate up. And we're getting back to the cardio talk that we just had. So,
Right.
so I think if we can get people moving, you're going to get good cardio, good strength, good mobility, good balance, good agility, all the things, all the kind of the different attributes for as we talked about in the beginning, what makes you being fit or healthy, and we're kind of training all of them through movement. So yeah, I think like I said, movement is medicine, and that's our main therapy by far. So I think everyone should move, whether it's after you've been diagnosed or had an injury.
Mhm.
We use movement and exercise therapy, or you could do a preventative. Your life is going
Right.
to be a lot. I can't say better, because there's many different things that could happen, but I'll
Definitely.
say, yeah, definitely. I highly recommend everyone move and get as strong and as fit as they can for whenever an injury or illness does come,
Right.
or just aging in general.
Correct. Agreed. It's the basic definition of health. Yeah, you have to keep moving. You have to keep moving forward, to be exact. Yes. What are your thoughts about telehealth and the new technology that we're blending in with? Do you think telehealth is a good option, or what do you think about
Uh,
that?
to be honest, I have no idea. I don't I don't use it. I don't know, so I can't really speak on that. I don't. The only technology I really use, I do have like video subscriptions on my
Right.
site, and I do Zoom classes as well. Like I said, for the people that can't commute to a gym or that aren't able to move very well, whether they're in a wheelchair or seated, or whether they just are in a different city or don't feel like coming to the gym. I do Zoom options, but yeah, telehealth. I don't know. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
That's interesting to know. But yeah, everyone has been talking about telehealth. So Zoom, and that if it helps, it helps. Again, there are so many biased opinions. Can you tell us what are a few important lessons that you've learned throughout your career that you'd like to share?
Um, well, with training, one of my biggest revelations was to have light, medium, heavy, and that can mean literally from like weight training. Have your light days, your medium days, or it doesn't have to be a whole day. It could be just a light movement, medium movement, and a heavy movement, or it could be again cardio. It could be a more intense day, a more light day. But I used to kind of think it was all or nothing. Either you train. I always thought it was either you're training or you're resting and recovering. I never really knew. And when we were playing with those variables, I would keep kind of screwing up my routine and either train harder and then you might need more rest, or you train less hard and then you can go more often. But what I didn't realize was you can actually light days of training help you rest and recover. That was probably my biggest kind of light bulb moment, where I was that kind of helped a lot of my clients, helped me. And like my personal things, I don't take any days off. I haven't taking a day off in probably 2 or 3 months at least of working out, but that doesn't mean that they're all heavy. I'm not,
Right.
deadlifting 400 pounds every day. Then that would be overtraining, like we talked about in the
Right.
beginning. So it's all about, light, medium, heavy, applying different amounts of stress to the body, and then you're going to, rest and recover. But you can rest and recover through light movement, and that actually is going to help kind of bridge the gap between your hard workouts. So that was probably one of the biggest things I've learned with my own routine and with training clients. Yeah.
That's interesting to know, because in my mind also, I think if I'm working out, I'm gonna go all in or I'm not gonna work out at
Yeah.
all. So
Yeah.
that's very
That's how most
interesting.
people are. And that's how I was for a long time. And I was hitting my head against the wall, I was hitting plateaus and I couldn't get through them. And then that was one of the biggest things that I realized, the stronger you get in any field, whether it's your cardio, whether it's your actual strength, a squat, a deadlift, um, you know, so like the strongest people in the world say they're lifting 800 pounds or something. They
Right.
can't do that every day, but it's not like
Mhm.
they should only do that once every 10 days and do nothing in between. So they have their accessory exercises and their complementary movements or lighter movements. So they still kind of, can get that neuromuscular activation, still get blood to the area, still practice the movement, but without totally taxing the system. And that's demonstrated real well with big movements like deadlifts and squats, but you can apply it to any kind of physical, any activity or sport. You need, it's actually interesting. There's this one fight coach that he has this method called the flow method, which I think is too extreme on the other end. But what he does, but it's still very interesting to hear, and he's still a successful strength conditioning coach for a lot of pro fighters. He does. He says never go to complete, max failure. Never go max effort. And his analogy, I think, was pull-ups. He said, say you can do 10 pull-ups
Right.
is your max. So if you do 10 pull-ups, you're going to be super fatigued and taxed after that. And then you might not do pull-ups the next day, and you might do 10 every other day or something like that. But he's like, if you drop it down to 6, now you can do it way more often. You can do it every day, and over the course of a week, a month, a year, you get that many more pull-ups in. So his theory was kind of never go all out and kind of get that flow state. And whether you're sparring, you're fighting, you're training, and never go all out where you need to, so intense that you need, to then come back down and stop. He's like, kind of go at that medium state where you could spar 20 straight rounds if you're going kind of light with your partner. And the same thing goes with not just sparring or fighting, but, exercising. If you're going at, a moderate rate, you can sustain it for much longer and therefore get much more repetitions in, much more volume in. But I still believe in light, medium, heavy. I think if you do only that, you're missing the heavy movements,
Correct.
and you're still kind of, so I think you got to hit all ends of the spectrum from that. But yeah, I don't know how I went on that tangent. I forgot the question. Sorry.
That's okay. I like the flow.
Yeah.
Based on that, I have another question. As a physical therapist, I always had this question. Would you rather focus on strength training first or on endurance? Cardio, yes, definitely. You have to have the cardio rolling when you start any workout. But would you for example, would you rather have a patient go 1 pound, 2 pound, 10 pounds, or 1 pound, stick to 1 pound, but do 1 set, 2 set, 5 sets, 100 set, 10 sets, something like that.
Oh yeah, so you're asking, do you prefer increasing basically the
Mhm.
volume or the
Endurance,
strength? Yeah,
correct.
yeah, yeah. You can do either, and what I like to do with both myself and with clients is kind of pick one and kind of go till you start hitting a plateau or kind of hitting a wall,
Okay.
and then kind of work on the other end of the spectrum. But frankly, also just out of sheer just misery, it's sometimes better just to go up in weight and stay at like 6 to 8 reps. Because if you're going up in reps all the time, 25 reps sucks. 50 reps, that's going to be pretty miserable and take a lot more time. So I don't ever get that high on the repetitions. At that point, you're working such endurance. I would just do cardio at that point.
Oh,
If I'm doing exercise more than 20, 30 reps. But it is good for rehabilitation because what we talked about in the beginning with the blood flow,
uh-huh.
say you have elbow pain or something and you're doing a bunch of, bicep, doing 25 reps, it's going to get a really, really good blood flow to the area. And as we talked about, blood flow is one of the main keys to any rehabilitation or just the health of any
Yeah.
joint or any tissue is getting that blood in the area, bringing new nutrients, oxygen in,
Correct.
flushing out waste. So from that standpoint, I do like doing, some high reps, but to answer your question, yeah, both are very important. And I mean, again, you really kind of back to what we were just talking about with the flow state. You want to do heavy, you want to do light, you want to do medium, you want to do more reps. So you really kind of want to hit it all. And if you're playing a sport or something, you might have to be a little more specific. A football player, an American football player,
Right.
they often only need to go all out for 6 seconds.
Mhm.
Versus a marathon runner. A great example is Usain Bolt, a sprinter versus a marathon runner. They train totally differently.
Mhm.
So for a sport, you would have a specific, but from overall general health, I think you should hit all ends of the spectrum. You should do some endurance training. You should do some more high intensity, low volume work where you're either moving really fast like a sprint or you're moving heavy weight like a 3 to 5 rep squat or deadlift. So I think it's very important that you do both.
What are your thoughts about warm up and cool down? Like, I know with even with therapy, sometimes we tend to miss that. I tried the warm up part definitely, but cool down, I think twice because there's only so much time we have with one patient. So, what do you think about warm ups and cool downs?
Yeah, they're important. And what you just said is we only have so much time. So what I usually do, I try to with my classes and my clients and my programs, and I always tell them this too. I'm like, this isn't just to warm up or this isn't just to cool down. We're actually trying to accomplish something. So my
Right.
warm ups, we're going to work on balance. We're going to try to improve your posture. We're going to try to do, so when we're warming up the body, we go through movements that are actually going to improve our mobility. We'll do like Cossack squats or something, really wide stance walks or high knees. So something that's actually going to help get you more mobile, help improve your balance, help improve your posture. So with warm ups and cool downs, I try to actually make that not like just boring, like, oh, we're just gonna sit on the bike for 5 minutes until you feel warmed up, until the blood's flowing. We're actually gonna try to improve, and not that there's not a time and place for that too,
Right.
but with my warm, and I do that with myself too. When my warm ups, I try to actually accomplish something. That's actually where I focus most on my mobility is give me a warm up or a cool down, and then and get ready for the movements we're gonna do, and then you can do movements that complement the movements that you're about to do. So good for coordination and stuff. Yeah.
I realized that I have been doing all wrong warm-ups now. I put the patient on bike.
No,
I'm like, okay, go to
I wouldn't say that that's
bike.
wrong. It's good to get the blood flow, and that is accomplishing something because
Right.
that could be some cardio. They might, if they get tired by the end of that, then you could say, oh, you didn't. Again, it wasn't just a warm up. You got 5 minutes of cardio in as well, so you're still burning calories. So not that it's bad, and trust me, I do that with myself sometimes too. But I actually love the assault bike. That's one of the best. That's one of the best cardio trainings you can
I
do. That
It's too boring.
Yeah, So yeah, I'll just do like 30-second sprints, 20-second sprints on the
Oh,
assault bike where you get the arms going as well.
right.
Yeah, that spikes your heart rate. That's one of the best things to spike your respiratory rate. But anyways, yeah, I wouldn't say you're doing it wrong. I think the bike is good. But yeah, with my warm up in our classes, we try to do a lot of balance work, posture stuff to help realign the body and yeah, and then you're also simultaneously waking it up and getting it ready for the workout that you're about to do.
Right. What is one exercise that you suggest the patient for posture and for balance?
Well, the best exercise of all time is the squat. That trains the most muscles in the body, the biggest muscles in the body, through the greatest ranges of motion possible. So really, with some people say, "Oh, I can't squat because my knees are back," but 99.9% of people can and should squat. They just think they can't because they have either bad technique or there's something that's just, if you say, "Oh, my knees hurt, so I can't squat," then that's really just saying you need to fix that. You need to squat and actually strengthen that area up, mobilize the knee joint. But so yeah, pretty much with the rare exception, everyone should have squatting being pretty much the main focus of their fitness routine. It burns the most calories. As you said, balance. It helps with your balance. So squatting would be number one, and then a good upper body push and pull.
Right.
So focus on pushing something, pulling
Right.
something, and get a good squat movement in. And then to answer your posture question, horizontal pull. So I break it down into, you have a horizontal pull, which would be like a row.
Correct.
You have a vertical pull, which would be like a pull up or the lat pull down machine.
Right.
You have a horizontal push, like a push up or bench press, and then you have an overhead press. So those are kind of the four upper body. And then the lower body, you have either a hinge or a squat. The squat is where your pelvis moves more vertical, and the hinge is where your pelvis moves more horizontal.
Correct.
And so I kind of break down my routines around those 6 movements. But to answer your question specifically for posture, I would say the horizontal pull is the most important. So like the row position where you're kind of strengthening or at least waking up the muscles in the back that pull the shoulder blades back and get that good kind of scapular retraction is really important. A lot of people, when they do their pulls, they just go with the arms. They don't actually move their shoulder blades through the range of motion. So I would say that's probably best for posture, and squat is just best for a human body. So
Well, with squat, the legs, how would you position the legs? Straight
yeah,
out.
I put heels underneath the shoulders, so a good kind of shoulder width stance, and then toes slightly out. And then more importantly than your toe angle is going to be your knees should always follow that kind of middle toe. You don't want your knees, caving in. You rarely see people with the knees caving out too far. It's mostly going to cave in too much. But yeah, I would say yeah, that you want your squat to be toes slightly out and knees following that middle toe as you go down.
What is one exercise you always prescribe the patient to do it at home?
Like I said, a lot of my clients have neurological disorders or coming out of hospital or tough situations. So one of my favorite ones, well, aside from the squat is as you mentioned, that's the best. So I tell them to do that. But we do a lot of marches, because again, if you can march, then or some people call them high knees. You can call it high knees or marching. If you're doing that, you're getting a lot of the major joints moving. We get, big arms, huge arm swings. A lot of this stuff comes from like track and field drills, sprint technique type work. And if you can get your knees up above your hips, or at least, we try to get up to the belly button height, or at least to the pelvis, then that at least ensures that you're able to balance yourself on one leg and bring the other leg up nice and high. So if you can march, then walking should be easy. So that's kind of one of the main things that I try to have our clients do. And it works on mobility because again, your knees are moving a lot, your hips are moving, your arms are moving. So it's hitting all the major joints. And if you go big enough and fast enough, you'll get some cardio out of it. So you can really kind of make it more power marches, or you can do them for more distance and almost like you're hiking up a mountain type of cardio training. So yeah, I try to have all my clients spend time marching on their own, or like if they go on vacation, they're going to miss a week out. I tell them, at least spend, X amount of time, put the clock on and just do high marches where you're really swinging the arms and get the knees up nice and high. And that's going to make sure that you're maintaining balance and get the blood flowing through all the major joints. So.
Right. Right. What made you decide to be an exercise therapist? Like, what led you to um, get into this field?
Well, I was pretty much always a gym rat, always, I'm in the gym right now, just always training myself. And then it came from fighting. I was boxing at the time, started coaching other fighters, and I really enjoyed doing that and, helping other people, seeing other people progress. And that really got me into training. So now I'm training other people.
Right.
And at first it was just kind of getting, amateur beginner fighters ready for fights. And then obviously, that requires such physical training. It's not like other sports where, you might just be working on a skill where you're actually, really preparing the body for, a pretty intense physical feat. So that got me basically training people. So if you're already trained them in boxing, kind of start, work on their strength conditioning programs. And then I just kept learning and went out to kind of informal internship with one of the best strength conditioning coaches out in Denver, where a lot of the athletes go for the high altitude training. A lot of the Olympic headquarters are out there, and a lot of camps are out in Denver. So I started working with strength conditioning coaches then, and then just slowly kind of moved to working more on with people that again are coming out of diagnosis, mostly neurodegenerative disease. Work with some cancer patients and using kind of the same tools. Human body is a human body. We use the same tools, same strength, the same cardio training to help people kind of get back on their feet again. I've even been through that. I've been in the hospital twice and had to kind of retrain myself walking and then back to running. So a lot of our programs are for people, that either you need help with posture, balance, and it's really good for the brain, especially when diagnosed with, Parkinson's or,
Right.
Alzheimer's, dementia. So that's a lot of our clients.
You mentioned you've been to the hospital twice. How difficult is the recovery phase? How bad is it? Just
Yeah.
one
Um,
percent.
well, the fact that I was in pretty good shape going in before I got injured, I think that helped a lot with recovery. So it would be a lot worse if you're so again, that's kind of what we were talking about earlier about we're not just, we work a lot with patients after they've been diagnosed or had an injury or illness. But really, if you can get ahead of the game and try to get yourself in really the best physical condition you can, strength, cardio, mobility, range of motion, then when something like that does happen to you, you're going to be a lot better off. Yes, yeah, I went in there twice, and both my recoveries were, I mean, when I was in there, it was pretty bad. Couldn't really stand up on my own. And then, yeah, for those who don't know, I got robbed and stabbed in the stomach, so I was out for a little bit and had a little
Wow.
organ problem. And then, but the recovery. So the initial time when I got stabbed, I had to wait for the abdomen to heal.
Right.
So that was a lot of time. So I was taking that slow. The next time I was in the hospital, 2 years after the stabbing, a few months ago, that time I had to there was no injury that I had to heal from, so that healing was actually quicker. That was just an internal organ problem that was kind of just a bunch of scar tissue damage and stuff. So that healing actually went pretty quick once I mean, it was hell in the hospital, that was brutal, but once I got out, the healing process was pretty fast. One day I'm struggling to walk, 3 days later I'm walking for hours. 5-6 days later, I'm running again, and 2 weeks later, I'm lifting and doing everything again. So that was pretty fast recovery, at least. But like I said, so I would that again just enhances my belief and tip that you should get in the best shape you can in case something like that does happen. Again, whether it's an injury, an illness, or if you're lucky enough to not experience any of those, age is still going to hit you in the head at some point. So it's kind of a dire analogy, but we're like plants. We grow, we peak, we have our peak phase, and then we all wilt and die. So it's going to happen at some point where your nervous system is going to deteriorate, your muscles atrophy, your joints lose range of motion, your cardio, your respiratory system, they all get worse and weaker. And I know that sounds brutal, but the good news is it's trainable, so you can get ahead of it and really train hard to fight the natural aging effects on the human body.
That's good to know. Any role model that you have who has inspired you and your work?
Um, no one specific. I mean, I've taken a ton from a ton of people, whether it's whether it's boxing, I learned something from a boxing coach, or whether it's, um, you know, like I said, shadowing physical therapists and doctors, neurologists. I try to take something from everyone and apply it to my programs and my classes. And so, yeah, really, no one in specific. Yeah, I've shadowed some good neurologists and gone to a lot of seminars, especially with the Parkinson's community and neurological disorders. And yeah, a lot of speeches. A lot of people are really good that have helped me along the way with strength conditioning or coaching. But yeah, no like one single specific.
You are your own role model.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
What is,
That's what I'm
oh,
trying to say.
oh, yeah. Although that, but what is one thing that you would have told your 18-year-old self to do or not to do?
Yeah, um, kind of what I was mentioning earlier about the light, medium, and heavy days. Again, when I was 18,
Right.
I thought it was all or nothing. When you train, I thought, lift your heaviest or run your fastest or do whatever training, routine you're doing, and then rest and recover. And then if you're not recovered yet, you have to rest longer. You need to play with that. I thought those were the only two kind of variables to play with. But I didn't realize that you should have medium days in between light days, and that those actually help your recovery. Um, and yeah, that would be because that's where I used to plateau a lot with my own training and with my clients is just kind of having only one speed and sticking with that every like just you could take it down, you could break down any specific movement, whether it's cardio, whether it's lift, it could be just the squat. So you could squat Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but have Monday might be your only heavy day, Wednesday might be a medium day, Friday might be a light day, something like that, rather than only squatting. Whereas when I was 18, I would have thought, oh, if you're squat heavy on Monday, then you can't squat again until you're ready to go heavy again, So but then Wednesday is too soon. You can't go heavy again, Once you're starting to get stronger, going super heavy on Monday then super heavy on Wednesday was too much. So then I'm like, oh, maybe I need 2 days of rest. Maybe I should wait till Thursday. So that was really the only variable I was playing with back in the beginning of my routine. But then, then learning, oh, Wednesday could be a light day, kind of bridge the gap. So once I saw that, I was able to break through some plateaus with myself, and a lot of my clients started doing a lot better then. So that would be my biggest tip to my younger self. That would be my biggest training, probably revelation.
Good to know. What is one failure that you have faced throughout your life?
Um, well, I wanted to play professional basketball, and that didn't happen. So that would be a failure. And then, yeah, I was expecting to grow a little taller, I guess. And, that didn't work out too good. But other than that, yeah, I'd say I run a fitness retreat program, which hasn't been a huge failure. As in, like, I didn't quit my day job. I still run my programs here and my classes, but those have mostly not sold out. So that brand did not take off though, and maybe it still will,
Right.
but that would be kind of a failed company that I started where we do fitness trips around the world, and I've ran a few that went really well, but it's hard to market for that and get that planned and get people to fill the spots,
Right.
and that would be I guess a business failure so far.
Be the reason for it?
What's that?
Could COVID be a reason for it?
I would like to blame COVID, but no, I was failing before COVID started. So I'll be honest. Yeah, it was COVID definitely didn't help. Yeah, that was like the final dagger. But yeah, I was already that brand was already not blowing up the way when I started the business. I thought that was gonna be like the thing, and planned all these trips and started marketing them, and then one by one just cancel this one, no one signed up, cancel that one. So that would be a business failure, but not too mad about it, because like I said, I never quit my day job. It was just kind of part of the overall fitness brand that I'm running. So that was fine, and it could still pick back up at any point. So that's kind of just a casual. It's almost like a fun side gig. So
Yeah.
that would be my business failure, though. Yeah.
You like to travel. Tell us something about your travel experience.
Um, Yeah, I love traveling. Like I said, don't get robbed and stabbed like I did. That was in America though, but I was
New York.
traveling. No, that was in Florida.
Oh,
Yeah.
really? Florida?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah. But other than that, yeah, traveling's great. Oh, I guess to tie it into your question about any tips for traveling, to tie in with our health talk, don't let that destroy your routine. I would say, when you travel, so you can still kind of change. You might have to change your workouts. You might not have the gym, but you can switch, from lifting heavy weights to doing, for example, the squat. We've been talking a lot about the squat today.
Mm-hmm.
So say you're squatting heavy in the gym every week, and then you go out of town. It's like, oh wow, I don't have weight. How do I squat heavy? You just have to be a little more creative. You could switch to one-legged squats, pistol squats. You could do lunges, stuff like that. And you can use that as we've talked about, light, medium, heavy workouts. You can make that week kind of a recovery week. But again, as I mentioned, recovery no longer means rest, total rest. It means lighter workouts. So there's a big difference between, as they call it, the difference between deloading and detraining. Deloading is, a light week. Detraining is where you're just falling off the rails and not doing anything.
Right.
That's yeah, you never need that. So again, I used to believe, oh, you need a week off, or oh, you need a day off, or oh, you need rest. But you really don't. You just need to not go. You just can't go super intense or super heavy all the time. But you can definitely do lighter workouts, and those, like I said, bridge the gaps. So I recommend that. Yeah, for when you're traveling, is a great time to deload or to still work out, but not at the same intensity level. So
Like you suggested, marching, high marching. You can go for a hike. It is still workout.
yeah, light jog, swim,
Right.
whatever. Stay moving, stay active. Like I said, you never want to detrain. You just want to deload. So if you've been training hard every day, every week for weeks at a time, you might need that week, where you go lighter, but still want to do something. Yeah, like you said, the high marches. You could just run through your mobility routine, stuff like that.
Right.
But yeah, you don't want. Yeah, complete rest is the enemy. Yeah, never complete rest. Always stay moving, stay active. It just can't be, lifting 300 pounds or
Right.
hard sparring or hard training all the time. That's why you want to vary to get that light, medium, heavy kind of different levels.
What are your opinions about the healthcare system in America and ways to improve it?
Um, I mean, I don't have too many opinions about it. I don't really haven't thought too much about the healthcare system other than I know it's kind of a mess with insurance.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't have the answers. I don't really know. I don't pay attention too much with that. Um, and the healthcare system, yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of, natural, fix, when we work with clients, get your squat stronger, get your, heart rate, these things are therapy, in my opinion, versus, the healthcare system, and I think is too quick to prescribe things, whether it be pills or surgeries. So that would be my only beef with the healthcare system. But other than that, I don't, yeah, I think as long as you're at least trying to exercise and trying to fix your injury or illness or whatever diagnosis you have, try to fix it, the right way first, and the right way being, the natural, exercise. But a lot of people, frankly, don't want to exercise. They'd rather
Mm-hmm.
quick fix,
Yep.
get a shot or a pill,
Yep.
or surgery or something. So, but yeah, that would be my main problem with the healthcare system. But I don't have too many opinions on it. I'm not an expert on the healthcare system, so I don't really. Yeah.
I have so many patients. Almost every patient has been injected with the corticosteroid shot. Not one patient has had a good outcome out of it.
Oh,
The
interesting.
pain is still there. Everything is as bad or even worse.
Yeah.
When such clients come to you who are hooked up on the pain meds, how do you help with like pain? Does exercise still help with
Yeah.
pain?
Exercise helps a ton because tying back to what we were talking about earlier with blood flow, the more you can get blood to an area, the more it's going to pump new nutrients, healthy oxygen, healthy nutrients to the area, and it's going to flush out the waste. So exercise really is medicine. It definitely helps rehab, whether it's a joint injury, whether it's, full body, some type of illness. And the other thing with specific exercise, like short term, is it going to release hormone endorphins and actually stifles pain almost instantly. So yeah, like for like a back is a good example. When you have a back injury or stiff back, you know, a lot of times people don't do anything and it just gets more tight. What you really want to do is get blood to the area. So if you can go for a long walk and then start basically exercising the area, start doing hip and core workouts, and really get new blood to the area, it's going to help heal heal that area. So it actually decreases. So exercise, from my experience, helps get rid of, when I have knee pain, I'm going to immediately go do, leg curls, leg extensions, do some squats, and really try to work the muscle around it. When I have back pain, I'm going to immediately go try to, train my core, train my glutes, do bridges, do planks, go for a 5-mile walk, try to get the blood flowing. Swimming is incredible for almost any injury. Swimming is a really healthy exercise. So that type of stuff. So yeah, when my clients are injured, I tell them we go right to the source. We don't avoid. We don't avoid. If your ankle's bothering you, we need to strengthen up that area. We need to get new blood to the area. So we need to go do some calf raises, go do some dorsiflexion. We need to go train the ankle, not get off of it and rest. And of course, you're walking on a tightrope because, so to speak, because you don't want to, do something that's going to make that injury worse. So you have to, especially with you in physical therapy, when people are coming right out of, right out of the doctor's office, right after they're injured, they might not be able to do too much too soon. So you have to be real careful, but you still do want to go right to the injured area and train it.
When we do that, there's a lot of soreness. Most of my patients complain of soreness. How do you get rid of soreness? Or it's the good pain? Like I always try to explain them, it's a good pain, and that is good. That means it's working. So what are a few tips that you would give to your clients?
Yeah. Well, one, it's unavoidable. It's going to happen. Like you said, it's the good pain, so it can be a good sign. But from my personal experience, if I can get, like, as you said, the good sore in an area, it almost always kills that pain. Like I said, if I have knee pain and if I can get my quads really sore that next day, my knee pain, I guarantee, will go down. Same thing with my back. If I have this real stiff back and my back is, injured, if I can get my abs and my butt sore the next day from doing exercises, then I can almost guarantee that the back pain is going to go down a lot. So, so it's unavoidable. They're going to be sore, and a lot of your patients are most likely not exercising going into their injury.
Yeah.
So when you have them doing exercise for rehab, they're going to be super sore because they're not exercising anyway. So a new movement's going to get you really sore. So unfortunately for that, so again, if you're not exercising and you have to do an exercise to rehab a joint, then yeah, you're going to be sore. It's just one of the side effects. But to decrease that soreness, really, it's just the more you do that routine, the less sore you'll get. So you keep training an area, it's going to get less sore. Your body just adapts to that new routine.
What about older patients? They complain of a lot of soreness. So like I now I can accept that I was doing this mistake of detraining. So if it's too sore, especially with older patients of mine, I would detrain. I'd be like, okay, let's take a break. Let's not, touch it. We'll just do electrotherapy or manual therapy. Nothing with exercise or too much loading. So what do you do with like older patients?
Well, yeah, you just answered it. Yeah, that's I personally don't do the detraining. I will take them through that same movement, just lighter. So because again, when they're sore, the muscle's still just recovering. So you still want to get a good blood flow to the area. So you could do the same movements, just a lot lighter and a lot less, and that'll help blood to get to the area, and that'll actually help their recovery rather than just sitting around resting, waiting for time to let it heal. Again, swimming is a great one, or just going for a long walk, when you're really sore and stiff after, a heavy lifting day. But you want to do something to get the blood flowing that's going to actually help your recovery. Not just if you just sit on the couch all day waiting for it to recover, then it's going to be slow. But there's still no avoiding it. I mean, it's called DOMS, delayed onset muscle soreness. It's going to come with training. So it's just one of the side effects. And like you said, older patients, older clients, recover slower, so they do tend to get sore for longer. So really, it's just maybe you have to lighten the load and progress them a little slower on their strength training. But yeah.
Right. That's good to know. Thank you so much. I learned like so much. I can't explain how much I learned.
Oh yeah,
Like you
yeah,
keep
me too.
so
Thank you.
many
Yeah.
steps about detraining, deloading, and so much more. What is one piece of advice that you would like to give to all of our viewers and anyone who is starting training exercise?
Um, KISS, keep it simple, stupid. Kind of that philosophy. Yeah, people are all over the place trying this because it looks cool or this new trend. But yeah, I'd say find a very simple, basic routine. Get your squat, your deadlift, your push, your pull, and just progress it each week, each workout. So keep it super simple and small baby steps. Slow and steady wins the race. Be patient. Yeah, consistency is key. So just slow, steady training each week. Try to progress by the smallest amount. Don't try to overdo it. Don't try to make big jumps in your
Right.
whether it's a squat or a deadlift or cardio. Don't go from running 1 mile to 5 miles. Don't go from squatting 60 pounds to 120 pounds. You go at the smallest increments. Start small. Start conservative, and then just slowly build and build and build. And just keep your routine super simple. They don't have to get complex until you're really advanced and you're really hitting plateaus and you're hitting your head against the wall. You can't progress, whether it's you can't improve your cardio or you can't get faster or you can't get stronger. Then more complexity needs to come into your workout routine. But in the beginning, for people beginning working out, keep it as simple as possible, as basic as possible, and don't be too aggressive. Just slowly build and build. So that'd be my main tip for everyone. Yeah.
I know I will come by and say hi at Union Square, but if our viewers or anyone else wants to come, come drop by, say hi, where can they find you?
Yeah, they could. Well, you can message me here on
Mm,
Instagram. I think my email is attached to that too, or healthyhitting.com. Yeah,
healthy.
Healthy Hitting is
Okay.
my website. Yeah, Healthy Hitting. I should have wore the shirt, but yeah, Healthy Hitting is where you can find our workout videos, Zoom classes, and if you're in New York, the actual classes. So yeah, you're welcome to come through anytime. Our clients will appreciate it. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
always looking to meet physical therapists, so we'd appreciate any tips you have as well.
Mm-hmm. For sure. I'll come by to say hi, meet your clients, and yes, it was so lovely speaking with you, Luke. And it's been long due.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. Glad we did it.
Yeah,
This is fun. I learned a lot as well. Thanks so much.
you're most welcome. Well, you have a good rest of the day. I know you've been working since morning.
Yeah,
Say hi to
yeah.
all your clients for me,
Will do.
and yeah, I'll stay connected. I'll come by probably next weekend or something like that.
All right, sounds good.
Bye bye.
Looking
Take
forward to
care.
in class. Can't wait.
Yeah, I know.
See ya.
Me too. Okay. Bye
All
bye.
right,
Thank you so
bye.
much. Bye. Thank you for listening to our talk about health. You can follow me on Instagram at pavna.devnani, on Facebook at pavna devnani, and we'll leave all the information in the description below. Thank you.